Welcome back, everyone. Today I want to talk about the 5 things I've learned about collecting knives. Okay, I've been collecting knives really hardcore 3 or 4 years. Probably 5 years now. But you kind of know my story. You've probably seen some of my other videos, but I started out with a police model way back in the late 80s. Carried that forever and then moved into Benchmade. Kind of did the normal progression, right? Spydercos, Benchmades, and then got into customs and things like that. And so the first thing that I have learned is it can become addicting. Okay? You start off with one knife from a maker that you like this Bottega. And then you end up getting another Bottega, and another Bottega, another Bottega, and then you get a Bugatti, and then another Bugatti, and you have other, knives from them as well. You get a glimpse, right? So now you've become addicted to a particular maker or brand. So you're always looking for that next thing, right? The next special knife, that next knife to go in the collection, the next knife that's going to have the material that you want, or you think it's going to make you happy, so you get the next knife. Okay? So that's the first thing, is it can really become addicting. Now, is that a bad thing? No, not really. It's just a thing. Okay? The next thing I've learned is it's time consuming. It gets really time consuming collecting knives. You are watching everybody's reviews. I know I spend way too much time on YouTube watching other reviews. Even still today, since I've become a reviewer, I'm still watching other people because they're my friends, because maybe they're not my friend and they're a little bit annoying, so I watch them because I want to learn what not to do or get tips and tricks from other reviewers. Sometimes I like to see what they're looking at, to see if I should reach out and try to get something that they're reviewing. Some of my review friends, we trade knives back and forth. You're constantly searching the forums and Facebook groups and things like that for the knife that you're missing. Kind of goes back to the addiction part, is you're missing a knife in a particular series maybe, and you want this knife, so you're spending a lot of time searching for it and whatnot. The other difficult thing is when you go to leave the house. I don't know about you guys, but it's always a thing for me that I kind of need to start thinking about the day before or the night before. When I was going to an office, I've been working from home for 3 years plus, but when I went to the office previous to that, I would think about that stuff the night before. What am I going to wear? Am I wearing jeans? Am I wearing slack? What's my attire need to be for tomorrow at the office? Because it varied sometimes, depending on meetings or client meetings and things like that. So what was I going to wear as my clothes? And then what was I going to carry? Which flashlight? Which knife? So it takes some time, and there's some anxiety there as you're leaving the house. Did I bring the right knife, the right watch, the right flashlight? So it does take time to be a knife collector. The other thing I learned is it's a great community. Okay, it really is. There's a lot of great people. There's a lot of great information. I have made some awesome friends over the years on Facebook, Instagram. I personally stay away from Blade Forum. You're not going to see me on there. I don't have a Blade Forum account. I'm not planning to be on Blade Forum. It's not going to happen. Okay? I would lose too much money buying and selling on Blade Forum. My brother sends me links and pictures all the time. Oh, hey, this thing's for sale over there. Nope. Don't want it. Don't need it. Couldn't afford it if I did. But I've made some real life friends too. Alex over at the Knifebox channel. Him and I get together quite a bit. Not as often as we should. I'm in Northern California. He's in Southern California. But when I'm in Southern California, we get together in person. Okay, there's some other people here at Therapeutic Edge and Women Carry Knives. They're here in Northern California. I get together with them and have lunch. Again, not as often as I'd like, but we do get together. So it is a great community. And I'm not going to lie, there are some people in the community that are not great. But I tend to just ignore them and move on. Okay? I have not had any bad experiences in the knife community yet where I've gotten stiffed or screwed or, anything like that, right? If I've bought things and it wasn't perfect, the seller has made it correct for me. I've sold things and it hasn't been to the liking of the buyer and I've made it right for them. So, all in all, I have had a wonderful experience in the hobby. Okay? The next thing I've learned is it can be expensive. It can be as expensive as you let it or as you want it to be. Okay? If you're searching for a knife like this AD20 all titanium, these were like $625 new. But they sold out in minutes and they were going for, I think my buddy was offered $1,100 for one of his in titanium. His was the checkerboarded one, or the textured version. It was just like this, but in titanium. And he was offered $1,100. So somebody was willing to pay $1,100 for this $600 knife. It can get expensive. Now, it can get expensive when, you have custom knives made. Okay? These are going to be more expensive than a production model. Okay? This is a production model made overseas. This is handmade custom here in the United States. It's going to be more expensive. Okay? But it can be as expensive as you want it to be or as you let it get. If you want to be in the sub $50 knife range, and that's your budget, and that's where you want to be, there are tons of $50 knives. $75 and under knives. Kubi makes a ton of them. Tucson makes a ton of them. Honey Badger makes some, I don't know what they're called exactly, but there's the Honey Badger is under $50. Even their bigger ones are 60 or 70. So under the $100 price range, there are a ton of options. So if $100 is your upper limit, you can still play in this world. Really can. If 500 is your limit, you can still play and you can still have fun. $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. Okay? And up. Okay? I play in that 50 to 10,000 range. Not going to lie. So there is a price for everybody, and it is as expensive as you let it be. Okay? The fifth thing. It's a bigger community than you think. Okay? I went to an event a couple of weekends ago in Southern California to meet up with a group of watch enthusiasts and watch collectors. I came away from that with some new watch friends, and a couple of guys that are really into knives also that I didn't know they were. I, in fact, sold my Norseman to one of the guys. After that, we were talking. I said, hey, I'll ship it to you. You can check it out. And if you want to buy it, great. And if not, ship it back to me. No big deal. As it was in transit to him, he says, look, dude, I watched your video. I did this. I did that. I want it. I'll pay you. I'm like, dude, just wait till it gets there. It gets there tomorrow or something. He goes, no, I'm out of town. I'll just pay for it now, and we'll call it good. I said, okay, well, if you don't like it after the fact, when you get it, when you get home and you get it, let me know, and I'll refund it. You ship it back. He goes, no. Once I say I'm in, I'm in. So he bought it, and he loves it. He cut himself twice. First day, it bit him twice. So now he owns it. Once it bites you, I'm not taking it back. So it's a bigger community than you would think. When I was going to the office before, I had people notice that there was a pocket clip in my pocket. And I noticed other people's pocket clips at the office. I'm like, hey, what model is that? He's like, what? I go, well, you got a Todd Begg in your pocket. What? How did you know? Because I have a few myself, and I know what the clip looks like. He was all kind of weirded out at first, and it was a glimpse. It wasn't the production model glimpse, but it was a custom glimpse. And custom, they're semi-custom, they're mid-tex, whatever you want to call it, right? So he became a knife friend. Another guy in another department, all of a sudden, he had a pocket clip. We started chatting. He also had a Bodega. He had a Steelcraft version of the Bodega. This is not the Steelcraft version, but he had a Bodega. And we became friends over knives. So it is a bigger community than you think. And that's what's very cool about it too. Okay? And in general, everybody's very cool in this community, regardless of what your price range is. And I would implore you, if you're in this community, which I'm sure you are since you're watching, if you are in that $1,000+ range, which would be, well, this guy and this guy. On the table right now, these are the two that are over 1,000. These ones are all under 1,000. In that under 5, 600, 700, If you're in this world, be nice to the guy in the $50 range. Seriously, don't be a jerk. I see it too often. Okay? Don't be that guy. And if you're in the $50 range, don't bust on the guy who's in the $700 or $800 range. We're all in different groups, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'll be honest, my $50 knife gets carried a lot. I realistically probably carry the $50 Kubi more than the $600 80-20. I'm not going to lie. I literally carry this one more. This one went to Hawaii with me and was in my pocket for most of the trip. This was the one in my pocket. Okay? I took a Hellraiser and I took the Quiet Carry Waypoint, $300 knife. But I took the Waypoint because it is super corrosive resistant, and I used that when I went snorkeling and went in the ocean and that kind of stuff. So if you're in the $50 range, own it. Don't worry. Don't stress. Like, seriously. I carry my $50 knives a lot. Just because I own $1,000 plus knives, I don't always carry those ones. Depends on where I'm going and what I'm doing. I carry what I want to carry that day. And I'm not above carrying a $50 knife. off to a knife show or off to a barbecue with other knife people. Carry what you want to carry that day. Because it's a big community and there's a place for everybody. So, that's my 2 cents, guys. Those are the things I've learned and my community service to just be nice and get along with everybody in the community. I mean, if somebody does you wrong, that's different, obviously, right? I'm not saying just let people get away with whatever they want to get away with, but don't bust on somebody because they're in a different price range in knife collecting than you are. Or if they like different steels. Dude, there's so many different steels, and 90% of you wouldn't know the difference if it wasn't marked on the blade. I'm just going to call it. If it didn't say S35 or D2, nobody would know the difference. You could use this thing for a week every day and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. For 90% of you, myself included. If you went to go sharpen it, you might notice if you're a sharpening guy, which again is maybe 50% of the community. So, yeah, just keep that in the back of your mind. So anyway, just a little random discussion here about the things I've learned being a knife collector. Let me know your thoughts down below. I would greatly appreciate hearing it. And what things have you learned? What have I left out? Because there's a lot of great tips and tricks being in the knife community. So put them down below so we can just help everybody out. I think it'd be awesome. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.